Coming up is my free pick in the NFL. We got the Washington Redskins at the New York Giants. This number was 6.5 earlier. We're saying they're looking at 5.5 right now. I guess, I don't know, maybe people found out. I like the dog, but certainly 6.5 is a lot better. But I still think 5.5 gives you a little bit of value. I think when you look at this New York Giant team, certainly great road warriors and a very iffy record at home over the years, especially as a favorite.
Yeah, most bettors are surprised that so many pros, wise guys, give very little home field advantage for the New York Giants. I make it 2. You said you make yours even less, and I'm not surprised because you got to compare how a team performs on the road to when they're at home to get a home field advantage. So I agree with that. This is a tough spot for the New York Giants, I think. And that's why I'm not too surprised money came in on Washington. I mean, New York was just out west in a big game against San Fran. I was a little surprised that this line didn't go the other way, though, meaning money not coming in on New York from the betting public, but it's early in the week, and we know they don't bet till Sunday.
Well, I was going to say, if you see a move like this early in the week, it has to be smart money. Chuck Edel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. And, the Giants over the years, after a big win, and I think we all agree that was a big win at San Francisco. They've over the years with Coughlin, they've always had a little bit of a letdown. They've been a little flat in certain situations, and that's usually, like you said, at home when they haven't played that well. A lot of times, a good time to get them. Redskins, meanwhile, their offense, they're number 1 right now, NFL yards per play. The Redskins are, and they really seem to be improving every week. A good offensive performance against what was a pretty good Minnesota defense going into that game last week. I was really impressed with what they were able to do on offense.
That advanced stat with rookie quarterback is impressive any way you look at it.
Well, I'm looking right now. RG3, his quarterback rating is over 100. The standard rating, not the ESPN rating. I'm talking 100.5. I mean, that's excellent for a rookie quarterback. It's excellent for any quarterback. Then you look back, this team beat the New York Giants twice last season. Now, I have to ask you, though, as devil's advocate, does that give the Giants maybe a little bit more focus on a game like this?
Obviously, a little more focus anytime a divisional game, and especially if they beat you twice last year, of course. But I'm not that high on the revenge factor. Unless something happened where you think a team's going to get revenge. Like there's some kind of personal issue with it. I think maybe if it was the Dallas Cowboys, if it was the Philadelphia Eagles. But I don't really see a Giants-Washington rivalry.
No, you look back, some of the things that the Giants did, I'm looking at for the season. They have 14 sacks, 11 interceptions. But they got 6 sacks last week and 3 interceptions last week. So other than that one game, those numbers are not what they appear to be if you just look at a blank, page.
Are you surprised that before the season started, the line for this game, Cantor, had Giants -7? And most bettors thought they're going to have a hangover from the Super Bowl. There was a lot of money betting Giants season total wins under before the season from the sharp bettors, and yet here we are, Giants considered one of the top teams in the NFC with what they've done recently. After week 1 against Dallas, this team's been on the rise.
Right.
Their stock's flying high, and yet rather than putting out that same number, they brought it out a little bit shorter. That's telling me the sports books have an opinion on this game.
Money showed against the Skins last week. They wound up going off as a home dog. And, of course, part of that was we weren't sure about RG3 up until we kind of knew at the end. Right. But, they looked very good. Does that enter into your handicap this week or into what the numbers come out?
Well, obviously, Washington's playing a little bit above the number. I think that line closed Minnesota 2.5. I mean, we were talking a lot and it was sharp money too that was coming in on Minnesota there. And obviously, no repercussions from the concussion that he had, and played well. The Giants, was worried about that Giants game against San Fran. They came in and they're still right now 29th yards per play on defense. Somehow they were able to put a good defensive plan together. But remember, this is a real good Washington offense going up. And we know Giants can score too. They're one of the top offensive teams, but the Giants' defense can be exploited, and that's why it makes a nice dog here attractive.
Okay, well, I've talked about it. It's time to make it official. For my free video play in the NFL, I'm going with the Washington Redskins plus 5.5 against the New York Giants.
Dogs have been barking in the NFL,
Dogs,
so it's not the worst thing to take a dog. They were 60%, a little better than 60% coming in to last week, and we all know only 2 favorites covered. in week 6, so it ain't the worst thing in the world to take a dog.
Let's hope they keep barking.
Sprinkle a little something on the money line. I can't say that enough.
That's VR's method.
You're going to back a dog.
I followed that last week.
Sprinkle a little something on the money line.
What percentage of your straight bet do you throw on the money line?
5% at least.
Right.
5% at least.
Speaking of dogs, your best bet is coming up next. We're going to talk about the Saints and the Bucks.
Till you run out of money.
We may have tipped a little bit off. So you can see all our videos at pregame.tv. So stay tuned. VR is going to talk about the Saints and the Bucks coming up next.